Hey kids, welcome back to some more science, because science is cool. We are going to continue talking about simple machines. Before we get onto our machine, I'm going to present you with a problem. Here's my problem. I have a super cool treehouse. I love my treehouse. I have to climb up some ladders to get to the very top of it, but that's okay. I'm pretty strong and I can climb on ladders. Here's my problem. I have a dog, Pippa, and Pippa wants to come up into the treehouse too. I can't push her up the ladders, and she certainly can't climb them by herself. How do I get Pippa up the ladder? Let's think about it. Can our simple machines we've learned about before help us? Let's start with the lever arm. Can the lever arm help us? Well, if I could build a really big catapult, I could shoot Pippa up into my tree. But that might hurt Pippa. I might miss the treehouse, and I don't really have a way to build a really big catapult in my yard, so that's not going to work. How about the wheel and the axle? Well, like the wishing well, I could tie something around Pippa's tummy and then lift her up, or put her in a bucket and lift her up using the wheel and the axle. I could do that. That would work. But the wheel and the axle, like the wishing well, is kind of big. I need to have a way to support that, something to hang it onto. And so that kind of works, but I need something smaller. What do I have that's like a wheel and an axle that can lift things up, but smaller? I know. The pulley. This is a pulley. And as you can see, it is a wheel and an axle with a big difference. There's nothing kind of hanging onto it. It's got a hole on the top, like a lot of them do, and it hangs from just something. A rope, a nail, a bolt. It has the big wheel. Here's the axle. It also has a groove in the middle. And what that does is it allows me to put a rope through there, and the rope won't fall off. So if I can attach something like this to my treehouse, I could then lift my dog up into the treehouse with me. High five. That worked. Excellent. The pulley. Pulleys are used in all sorts of situations. One simple place you might have seen a pulley system is at a flagpole. So let's think about a flagpole. Here's my flag. And I don't know if you know this, you've probably seen a lot of flags, but a lot of times places don't leave those flags up if the weather's going to be bad. Or if you're at a school, sometimes they put that flag up and down every single day. And if you've ever taken a look at a flagpole, they're really, really tall. So how do they get the flag up there? Does someone have to climb up that little flagpole and drag the flag up with them? Do they put a big tall ladder out there, or a cherry picker truck? No, they use pulleys. Here's my flag. Here's my string. I'm going to attach my pulley here and my second pulley down here on a fixed point. And then I can raise my flag up and down using a pulley. See? And then when the day is over, I can bring it back down and unclip it. The pulley helps me go up, and it helps me go down. So pulleys can be used to raise things up and to bring them back down. Cool. They help us change the direction of force of our muscles. So I have a bucket here that I want to raise on up. Let's pretend there's a ceiling up there, or maybe a construction site, or my treehouse, and I want to raise something up, and I'm standing on the ground. I could get a ladder and drag it up there, but by using a pulley, I can pull down. And my pulling down muscles are much stronger than my pushing up muscles. Once the pulley's in place, I can lift things up and let things down like this. If I put a 2-pound weight in my bucket, I have to pull down with 2 pounds to get that bucket to go up there. If I put 4 pounds in my bucket, I have to do 4 pounds to get it up there. A little bit harder. What if I put 6 pounds in there? Ugh, getting really hard, you know. except most of the times when people are using pulleys, they're using a lot of weight. So what do they do? I'm going to show you a trick that we can use pulleys to give us even more muscles. So here's a problem I know you've all had to solve. What if you're trying to carry something and it's super heavy? What can you do? I think you can maybe think about that for a sec. I have an answer though. You can have a friend help you, huh? Huh? Thanks, yeah. It turns out that scientists figured out that the more strings that you have going to a load, it's like having more people help you. Remember when I had my friend help me with that bucket? There are 2 ropes here going to this bucket. We don't count the one I'm hanging on to. That one doesn't count. 2 ropes going to this bucket is like having 2 people help me carry it up. It's much easier. Let's put that 6-pound weight in there now and see how it feels. I've got the pulley tied off here, or the rope tied off here, 1 pulley here, and 1 pulley there. And now, wow, that's super easy. Wow, I can lift up a lot heavier bucket by having these 2 strings instead of just 1. So what happens if I add more helpers, more strings? Let's find out. Okay, here's what's going on here. I have it tied off there. I have it going to a double pulley down here. I have a pulley there, and I have a pulley there. How many strings are going to my bucket now? 1, 2, 3, 4. So lifting this bucket is like if I asked 3 other friends to help me, 4 people helping me lift this bucket. Oh, and this is really easy. Check it out. I can do it, what? 1 little hand. Much, much easier. Cool. So pulleys are a great way to help us lift heavy, heavy loads. The wheel and the axle could help us lift some things, but the pulley can do so much more. And let's take a look at some areas where this system, lots and lots of pulleys together, are used to lift up heavy loads, because you've seen them. Let's take a look.
The pulleys still work the same way, and the mechanical advantage is still 4. This device is called a block. This is another block. The whole system, pulleys, blocks, and ropes, is called a block and tackle. The more pulleys and rope segments in a block and tackle, the greater the mechanical advantage, and the heavier the loads you can lift. So pulleys are simple machines that you can use in many different combinations to help you do work.
Pulleys can be used to pick up all sorts of things, even people, like me. Safety first. In this system, I have a single pulley hanging from the rafters in my garage. That pulley is a pretty strong pulley. It can hold up to 400 pounds, so I'm not too worried. I run the rope through the pulley back down to me. Now, because it's only 1 pulley, I have to pull down with as much as I weigh to pull myself up, which is a little challenging. Whoa! I can make this system better, because right now I'm kind of heavy. So in this situation, I've changed things around a bit. That last way was too hard. With just 1 pulley, I had to pull down with enough muscle to pull myself up. I'm kind of heavy and I'm not that strong. So to make my job easier, I'm adding more pulleys. This time, I've added a pulley right here. See? There's 1 here, and I still have the one from the roof. It turns out that every time you add another pulley, it's like adding another friend to pull. So now, when I pull down on this rope, it's like having somebody else pull with me. 2 people can pull just as hard, twice as hard as just one. Let's check it out. Safety first. Here we go. Whoa. That's so much easier. How do I get down? I do want to mention that I'm a rock climber. All the stuff that I have here is made to hold people. The ropes that you find around your house or the hardware store are probably not made to hold people. So make sure you're with a grown-up who can check it out before you hang your body off. Because even with a helmet, if you fall from a great distance, you're going to get hurt. But if you got the right stuff and you got some pulleys, you can have some fun. Here's a pulley situation you've probably all seen. The elevator, right? An elevator is a machine that helps lift people up some very tall buildings. On the surface, it's a pretty simple machine. There's a box inside of a tube or a wall, and then I'm using a spool on a pencil to turn freely. A pulley is anytime you have a wheel on top of an axle, but the wheel spins freely. They're not really connected in this case. It just spins. So by pulling this string across this here spool, I can cause the elevator to go up and down, up and down. Now elevators have something very special because you're probably wondering, wow, how many pulleys does it take to get that much muscle to lift up a lot of stuff? There's another trick you can do with pulleys to help you. In this case, if you kind of sneak a peek at the back, you can see me pulling on this string. In reality, in a real elevator, there would be weight hanging off here, a counterweight. So, for example, some engineer says, the elevator might weigh 1,000 pounds, and maybe 1,000 pounds of people are going to be inside of it. So we're going to take 2,000 pounds, the weight equal to the elevator and the people, and hang it off the back so that they'll balance. And the machine that lifts it up doesn't have to pull very hard. That's a counterweight, a weight that helps you hang on the other side. Since these two things rotate, by hanging something on this side, gravity will pull it down and the people will go up. That's pretty cool. Hey kids, I'm going to show you an example of a pulley that I have at my house to solve a problem that I had. You see, I have this totally awesome attic in the roof of my garage. And you can see there's some stairs going up there. The problem I had, these are the buckets I have to get up there. How am I gonna do that? These are my science buckets. When I'm not using them, I put them in my attic. But, how do I get them up there when I can't pick them up the ladder with me? I can't crawl up a ladder while I'm holding a big bucket. So I had to solve my problem with science. And let me show you how I did it. Here's my totally awesome attic space. But here's where I have to get the stuff up. I'm standing at the top of the ladder right now. And here's how I solved my problem. I built myself a little shelf to put the boxes on. And then I added some hooks to hold on to the shelf. And I've run it from some strings to a pulley in the roof and back down again. And I'll show you how it works. Step 1 is to untie the rope and release the pulley. I've got it tied up here so it doesn't fall down on my car by accident. Step 2 is to lower the cart through the line leading to the pulley. Down it goes. Is to load the box onto the shelf. Step 3 is to pull the box up using the pulley system. The last step is to get the box off. here it is. Put it in my attic. Yeah, that was so much easier than trying to get it up the stairs. Science is cool. Pulleys can also be used for fun things such as zip lines. Because the wheel rolls, there's less friction. You can go super fast. That's all I have this week on pulleys. I sure hope you enjoyed learning about them as much as I love teaching about them. Pulleys are cool, and science is cool.